Back here on BamaInsider.com, we have our next signing of the day. Another four-star. This one, Earl Little Jr., cornerback, and another big signing in this class. A guy that we've talked about a lot throughout our recruiting shows this fall, and a guy that is another really exciting commitment for the Crimson Tide. What was his final factor in choosing Alabama? Talk about the other schools involved in this race and what kind of skill set he's going to bring to Tuscaloosa.
Well, I think it's all about development with Earl Little Jr. I mean, he's been to Tuscaloosa several times, knows the ins and outs of the program. I mean, his head coach at American Heritage, Pat Surtain, is he's the father of Pat Surtain Jr. or the second, and this is a guy that knows everything about Alabama and has been recruited by the Crimson Tide for such a long time. Jay Valai, the new defense backs coach, did a great job. Once he became, the new Tide secondary coach, developing that relationship. But it's also about Nick Saban. I mean, Coach Saban went into Little's home last week and really spent about an hour there, sitting down, talking to him, talking about X's and O's, and really kind of just developing that bond and that relationship, that player-coach relationship with each other. But we felt like Alabama was in the driver's seat, really since the spring, and Little said that. I mean, Alabama was his leader, for the last several months now. There was some talk that Mario Cristobal, when he became the head coach at Miami, could potentially go in there and steal Little away from Alabama, because this is a Miami legacy. I mean, his father, a great player for the Hurricanes, playing in the NFL, and there's certainly a lot of pressure on the family, in that regard. But in the end, it was all Alabama for Little, and just adds another great football player from American Heritage to Alabama. This is a guy who can move around in the secondary. You can line him at corner, you can line him up at star, you can line him up at safety. I mean, he's got this unique athletic ability that Nick Saban really covets and really wants in his defensive backs, especially the ones that can move around in the secondary. Compared him to Minkah Fitzpatrick, and believes he can have a similar type impact. But this is definitely a guy that is a smart football player, and very technically advanced, and definitely somebody that has a lot of speed. So I think Alabama coaches are thrilled today to get him officially on board, even though I feel like he probably informed the Alabama coaches months ago that, hey, I'm coming to Alabama. But he wanted to have this big moment today, and this was a big moment for him announcing for the Crimson Tide. But yeah, it really came down to Alabama and Miami. Florida State was also a school that received an official visit, but he was never going to Florida State. This is all Alabama. It's been all Alabama for several months.
Yeah, just crazy to think Alabama goes into another state like Florida and gets the kid to commit over the in-state schools there. And like you said, father in the NFL and his head coach with some Alabama ties as well. Big, exciting commitment or signing here today for the Crimson Tide. And like you said, very athletic. As you watch the tape here, kind of play all over the field. Where do you see him slotting in immediately with the Crimson Tide? And kind of where do you see him developing throughout his time in Tuscaloosa?
Well, I kind of see him as a Malachi Moore type player. I mean, I think he can play the nickel. I think he can play, in that, as a slot cover guy. He's got great speed. He's also, very physical. He'll come up and pop you in the mouth. So I do think he's got an opportunity to come in and play early. The biggest thing with him though is, can he get to campus in January? I know he's been working on that. His school actually doesn't allow you to do that, but I think there's some work around there right now that they're trying to do. So we'll see if he makes it in January. But yeah, I mean, Alabama signed one of his former teammates 2 years ago, or not 2 years ago, last year, in Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner played at St. Thomas Aquinas as a senior, but he's an American Heritage guy. I mean, that's where he's from, and that's where he played, and they're really close friends. So that pipeline down there continues. And, Mario Cristobal is going to do well in South Florida. I certainly expect that, but I also expect Alabama to continue to hit the area hard, and they're going to recruit it for a long time, and should still be able to get great players, like Earl Little Jr. out of South Florida for years to come.
Yeah, Billy Napier, Mario Cristobal, new head coaches in the state of Florida. But like you said, I think Alabama is going to be all right down there in the Sunshine State. Big time signing today as we keep it going here on Bama Insider. Guys, go find Andrew on Twitter at AndrewJBone and check out the rest of his work on BamaInsider.com. Don't forget to check out the rest of our YouTube page. Hit that like button as we continue with full coverage on this early signing day 2021.